let us ask ourselves, is DCP what the Kikuyus called Makiwama mafefe? What is Makiwama mafefe? Makiwama mafefe is a certain kind of fire that lights up very fast, very fierce, and burns out very fast. It is said, the Kikuyus call it Makiwama mafefe because when you harvest the maize, the dry maize plants is previously used to be burned in the field. When you burn them, they burn very fast and very fierce. But within no time, the fire is out. People used to burn them in the field, but agricultural officers later discovered that it was better to leave the maize plants after you remove the cob to rot and assist in germinating the following planting season. When it burns the soil. When you are burning that, it burns the soil, and it spoils the soil. So the agriculture also saw that instead of you know, when there is fire on the soil, it spoils the texture of the soil. Fire of any type. And again, if you leave those plants on the farm, they rot and become, they develop the soil. So that is, previously people used to burn those ones. So when you burn them, within a very short time, you find that it burns very fiercely, very fast, and very hot. But within several moments, it is no longer there. So anybody who comes up with who becomes famous in no time and is gone in no time, the Kikuyus can call him or her Makiwama mafefe. The same applies to the liquid called spirit, that the bluish, is it pink? The pinkish liquid that is in our laboratories. If you light it, it lights very fiercely and burns out very fast. So I'm trying to think, is a democratic DCP a fire that lights up very fast and dims very quickly? But it is too early to rule them out. It is too early to rule them out. Maybe, just maybe, they could be a, what do you call that bird? A phoenix. Be a phoenix. Mr. Regardless left the USA. He was supposed to stay there longer, but he quickly left the USA to come to Kenya to coordinate his party in the soon-to-be by-elections. We can spend up to 3 days without him being on the news. So far, DCP has reduced its fire. Which one may think that they have taken a break during a campaign. Interesting? Yes, interesting. Because the time to campaign is now, when we have one senatorial seat, several national assemblies, and much more county assemblies. That is when people are supposed to campaign. But when there is no campaign, the DCP was campaigning. Now that there is campaign for those seats I've mentioned, they have gone silent. Anyway, one may ask, are they listening to the ground? You know, I've never seen somebody who has his or her ear on the ground and talking. Maybe they are there listening. Who knows? Yes, other parties are fighting to retain their seats. For example, is it Mbere? Mbere, the seat was occupied by Democratic Party of Kenya. So you find that, and Malava was for initially ANC, but it was consumed by UDA. Now, what I'm trying to say is that, for the sake of pride or anything, seats where the former occupiers were from a particular party, the party would really fight to retain it. To retain it. But other parties will try to gain them. And you see, let us face facts. Even if the DCP wins one civic, that is MCS seat, just one, it will have moved from 0 to 1. But let us take any other political party, especially a party that was occupying that, like Mbere. If a Democratic Party does not get it, then it will kill the morale of the Democratic Party. So other parties are those who occupied those seats are fighting to retain those seats. The other parties are fighting to retain those seats. While parties like they're fighting to retain those seats, while at the same time trying to win seats from where they did not have seats. But for DCP, even winning just one is a boost to them. Although the way they came when following the philosophy of Makiwama mafefe, if we follow the philosophy of Makiwama mafefe, we would expect that they should have a very good clean sweep. But you see, there is two conflicted areas. One, they want to start off with a very quick start. That is one. Two, they don't want to fight with other opposition teams. So this sometimes may even be counterproductive, or they may contradict each other. DCP through Malala is calling DAP a Bukusu party. This is what I'm now saying, whereby you find that DCP and DAP have turned against each other. Now, turning against each other, like what is happening in Malava, is maybe counterproductive. It may be counterproductive, and they will fight each other until David Ndakwa is declared the MP, and then they rush to the election court claiming that elections were rigged. In such a time, in such a situation, it is themselves who are rigging each other. Because you can see, as I said, DCP is calling DAP a Bukusu party. Again, DAP feels that they are entitled to give a candidate for the Western region so that Especially if you can remember, none other than Mr. Regardless himself has said that you should consolidate your home area so that when we come to the table, you say you come this way. Now, if for example, DCP wins Malava, if DCP wins Malava, it will have sent a message to DAPK that we are a Luhya party. We don't have to use you to penetrate Luhya land. So we are a Luhya party. But DAP would want to win Malava seat so as to show that when they go to the high table the way Mr. Regardless says, then they can go there and say we have Western region or Luhya land in our pocket. So you find that if, for example, they were to join hands, let us say uh, the DCP candidate has 30%. Let us say the DAP candidate has 30%. And let us talk of UDA candidate having 40%. If they differ this way and elections is done, the UDA candidate will win with 40%. But if they join together, they'll take 60% and the UDA candidate. So a lot of votes will be lost when they fight among themselves. Uh, Edgar Busiega is a very good candidate. This is not Busiega's lone candidate war. Yes, he's fighting his war with other candidates, but higher up, the political parties are fighting. So they call it marionette or something. Those things that things that act, but there is somebody behind the stage who's pulling. So this is a big fight for the political parties, but it is not just for the candidate. I I don't know. I don't know why Busieka went for the DCP. The little thing I know about him is that the little I know him is that if fairness has to go to come, we had the 1988 elections. 1988 elections were misused by district commissioners. But Daniel Arap Moi's intention was he did not like the idea of having 20 candidates for a councillor seat. So he just wanted the 3 serious candidates. Today, if I have to say it without any fear of contradiction, is that the only 2 serious candidates that we have, I said so and I'll continue saying, is David Ndakwa and David Ndakwa and Edgar Busiega. I'm not saying that in the order of priority. No, one, of course, in the alphabet, David comes ahead of Edgar. So those 2, if we have to use the KANU politics of 1988, where political party don't count, maybe when you talk about clans, because 1988 there was clans, but today you find that somebody who's going to win the Kasipul seat is whoever ODM will select, whoever ODM's candidate will win. I have never spent more than 30 minutes in Kasipul. I think that is on your way to Kisi. I've never spent more than 30 minutes there. But if today I was taken to be the ODM candidate for Kasipul, I would win against any popular candidate there. So today, Busieka is fighting a war of his own, and also political parties are fighting their wars. During those days, what Moi wanted in 1988, well, if we were to apply that, I would have said that let David and Edgar contest. Those are the two serious candidates. I have no preferred candidate, but I would say if I were to do the vetting and say, okay, I need two serious candidates or three or whatever, I'd say Malava has only two. Malava has only two, Edgar and David. And you see, even the age, if you look at Kenya in the past, and if you look at Malava, let me ask you, at what age did a person like Anaswa become the MP? At what age did Mulanda Angatia become the MP? Yeah, age allows for the two. But you see, the problem here is the war is not there, just among the two. The war is a greater one. And that is why, if I were to advise Edgar, I would have told him to have joined DAPK. DAPK. You see, DAPK, even if you say it's a Bukusu party, but you see, from Kabureng where Bukusus are, or you just cross the river, River Nzoia, and your Bukusus on the other side, isn't it? But DCP, they come from where my mother is buried in Kayaba, Wamunyoro. So you find that I would be very sincere that if Busieka would have contested on a DAPK, it would have been better. I don't know what led Panyako to. You know, Panyako is a founder member of UDA. I don't know what led him to leave UDA and go to DAP. Unprovoked. Unprovoked. And I also don't know what led Edgar not to contest on DAPK. Both were, in my view, ill-advised. Ill-advised. We have been we have been thinking, because before the last election, uh, Panyako was in the Ruto camp, and the late Malulu was in ANC. He was in the ANC. So I was asking myself how it will happen in 2027 now that ANC and UDA have combined. So we would have expected that since the act of God has taken away Malulu, we would have expected Panyako to. I don't know what led him to leave without no. First of all, we thought it was rumors that he has resigned his senior position. Then later on, he rushed there and whatever. I do not know. Um, but he will live to regret. He will live to regret. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if I would have met Edgar Busieka, because Edgar Busieka, there's those people. By the way, I am an intelligence officer. By the way, I am an NIS officer. I'm just like a lawyer. If any of them would have approached me before coming out publicly, when I say that I would advise so and so to be in this party, or I would have advised so and so to be in that party, I am just a professional. I'm just a professional where I'll give you reasons why you stand a better chance. Because Edgar Busieka, I don't see him being in UDA. I don't see. even if he's assured that he will win the seat. I don't see him joining UDA. So I would have advised him to go to DAPK. And in DAPK, he would even, if there was a possibility, and a very high possibility. This is what I'm saying. Edgar Busieka in DAPK and David Dakwa in UDA. I would be very careful to call to say who will win. But him going to DCP, I think it was advised. Now, did I say that Malala is under pressure to prove that DAP is not a Mrima party alone? He will be under immense pressure, both within and both without. Remember, he is the interim deputy party leader. I could be a Maasai in DCP, and I would be looking for, because the party leader being a Kikuyu, I don't see a deputy party leader coming from Mrima. So supposing I'm from Maasai land and I want to be the deputy party leader, you see, if Malala does not get the Malava seat, there will be a lot of pressure for a replacement of the deputy party leader. That is one. Two, there is that is within still the DCP. If he wins if his candidate wins the Malava seat, then he will have a lot of say in the DCP party. You getting me? So within, there are two reasons where those who want him out to take his seat, and there is those who want him to win the Malava, his candidate win in Malava, so that he has a lot of say in the DCP. Ruto, what many people don't know is that Ruto was born. People say that Ruto is from Sugoi or something. No. I've already said it before, but I'll repeat. Ruto bought land and he left his ancestral land for his brothers to share. So Ruto was born in near Malava. He went to Kamagut Primary School. So from Malava constituency to where President Ruto was born is less than 10 kilometers away. So UDA will have a lot of pressure, not only to retain the seat, now I've left the issue of candidates. I'm now talking of the parties. So UDA will be under pressure that the seat used to be occupied by an ANC person, and ANC was swallowed by UDA. So UDA would feel entitled to retaining that seat. You'll find that Farouk, even though David Dako was not his initial candidate, Farouk had other two candidates, and he really campaigned for them. And I saw that they were going to lose. But along the way, he stepped back. He left the UDA members to choose. And you remember, Musalia Mudavadi was telling people that those who are going to meet in delegations, he was telling them, we have not chosen anybody for you. What we are telling you, give us a candidate, then we campaign for him. So David Dako was not his initial candidate, but Farouk would later come in full force, especially now that UDA has settled for David Ndakwa. There are allegations of the Prime Cabinet Minister or Prime Cabinet Secretary preferring Ndakwa. Even though Malulu was in Mudavadi's party, ANC, but anybody else, if Malala, if Malulu was still alive, I would recommend any political party to side with Ndakwa more than Malulu, because Ndakwa is principled. Malulu was a sly person, jumping from here to there with not with the prime target of his political survival. He was not a person who was principled politically. But then death has solved the conflict between Malulu and Ndakwa. Now, for the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Speaker of the National Assembly, both being on Ndakwa's side, plus both having issues with the opposition. Remember, if DAPK wins, people say, okay, let me not mention that. But I'm saying if DAPK wins, the person who suffers most would be the Speaker of the National Assembly. But both of them, as I've said, both have issues with the opposition. If they lose Malava, both of them, their national stature will go down. There is Natembeya who is eating into both their supporters, and even and especially and both when Natembeya is eating into both, but even in his own party, he's fighting Eugene. So you find that can I call it a Bukusu war? There is Natembeya, there is Eugene, there is Weta. So you find that a lot of interest will be given into this seat, because each of these political leaders has a lot in stake. Internal wars between Natembeya and Eugene will cost the DAPK candidate a lot, especially in Malava. Although last evening, Natembeya said he was going to campaign for the DAPK candidate, but their internal wars may cost them something. Still, do not underrate the gravity of those in the government. On any given day, when the government comes in full force for something, do not underrate it. You have seen the Prime Cabinet Secretary, he has called village elders to his office, he has called school heads, he has called whatever. And today, before I came to this forest here, I saw there is a YouTube from home called, is it Nyamandogo? That young man gives us a lot of information on what is going on home. I can tell you, the way Farouk talks, and is very fluent in Kikabras. You know, it is funny because his Farouk comes from 7 kilometers from Malava. Farouk speaks broken Kabras, which Mudavadi does not speak, which Wetangula does not speak, which Eugene does not speak, and is the nearest to them. And he knows all the villages and all the corners, and he knows what to say. I would say that in a party, what do you call homecoming? They call it homecoming. In the homecoming party for David Daku, Farouk should be given a prominent seat because the way he's connecting with the people. If you were to stay with Farouk, he can mention 7 different Kabrasi clans. But I don't think other leaders, even Ruto, President Ruto himself, even a person like Mudavadi, a person like the speaker, Wetangula, Eugene and others, if you are to tell them to mention 7 clans from the Kabrasi, they can't. But he, he will stand. He will start to move a lot of people. Personally, I have a lot of respect for both David and Edgar, and as I've said repeatedly, age-wise, they are okay. Age-wise, they are okay because, as I've mentioned, they are people who are joining politics at that level, at the age which is acceptable. Of course, we have people like Panyako, my alumni, Caleb Sunguti. They have been in politics for long. They have been in politics for long. Uh, so when I was in Form 5, when I was in Form 6, when I was in Form 6, Sungut was in Form 4. When I was in Form 5, Sungut was in Form 3. So he's approximately my age, or we could say the age of my follower. I personally usually believe that politics should be taken up by young people. David Dakwa, as an intelligence officer, I'd say he has taken a very rough route. Even when I was working for Special Branch, we used to be told that don't try to be a councillor before you become an MP. Because if you are a councillor, which today is now MCA, people can assess you. When they assess you, there is. But if you go straight for that. But again, if you are a councillor or an MC and you do your work so well, it becomes easy for you to be an MP. So starting politics at the age of Edgar and David is very good according to me. Because one day, whether we will be alive or not, we would want to have one of our own as the president. And if you look at the president today, he started politics in 1992. 1992, born in 66, 66, 66, 76, 86. 92, he was 26 years when he started politics in 1990. But he was elected in 26 plus when he was 31 years. You see, these people who start politics when they are young, they go far. Daniel Arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, and even Jomo Kenyatta. So it is always good to have young people from your area. They start off as MPs or even MCS, MP. They continue that way so that when he reaches the age of Fernandez Baraza, he does not go for governorship, he goes for the presidency. Look at somebody like Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka became an MP in 1983. I like them because age-wise they are okay. And also look at Edgar and David. I would, I would, I would, I would, I would be unable to choose whom to vote for. But I have to tell you from a very technical point, this thing is for David. Because if you were to use the 1988 politics, as I said, election way, it would go anywhere. But you see, Edgar, even when he's campaigning, instead of those people concentrating on making Edgar be the MP, you see Malala saying that angalia party leader wa DAP ni Mbukusu, deputy party leader ni Mbukusu, and that is eating into the time when Edgar would have done that. I would say that of the two, they are equal, but with a lot of effort. Obviously, efforts will come, effort will come, but see the people who will be backing David. Look at the president, was born 10 kilometers away. Look at, what do you call, Farouk, was born 7 kilometers away. The prime cabinet secretary wants to retain that seat so as not to be seen that somebody can come from Wamunyoro and take that seat. The same applies to the Speaker of the National Assembly. So those who are against Edgar are a lot. And that is why I can say that even though the two are equal, but I can tell you that David is taking the seat. David Dakwa is taking the seat. I've also seen, apart from their being age-wise and being, they are very mature in their handling. They are very mature in the handling of issues. They address issues. The two, David and Edgar, they address issues. They address issues. But these other people, look at the person like Panyako. Panyako is now, instead of recruiting people who can advise him get votes, he's recruiting youths whom Malulu used to intimidate people with. He has used, no, I cannot say he has used kids, but Caleb Rudy was manhandled by goons, and Panyako has not disassociated himself with the goons. It is possible that those goons may have been hired by even Caleb himself. They could have even been hired by me or anybody else. But they wanted to give an impression that they were for Panyako. So the list of Panyako would have done, even if they are known to be Panyako people, he should have condemned them, and he should have, even if he would have sent them, he would have used that opportunity to disown them. So he seems to be a person who wants to carry forward issue. Lastly, people may want to know why I would not want, why I would not bet on Caleb Sunguti, my Bungoma High School alumni. I would say this. First of all, there are three things, or is it five? But three. I would say that first of all, I am somebody who wants generational change. Generational change. There is no need of a person like Mudavadi, who was elected for the first time in 1989. 11 plus 25, 26. He has been in politics for 36 years. Ni nini hajapata? He is now the prime minister. He used to be the vice president. He is a minister for foreign affairs. It is a time for generational change. Generational change. I would wish at the level of somebody 45 years should be thinking of being senator or governor. 45 years. So that at 55 years he starts thinking of presidency. But somebody below 45, I would wish him to campaign for. We want young people. We want young people. Another thing is concerning my Bungoma alumni, Caleb Sunguti. I don't know who told him to choose a party like Roots. Of course, I've said we were in the same school with Bungoma High School with Caleb Sunguti, and we were in the same profession with Wajakoya. The same profession with Wajakoya. the so-called Form 6 inspectors of special branch. We were desk officers with Wajackoya. But his party, I don't know whether Roots has, apart from hyping up people, emotions and whatever. Uh, and also, I'm seeing that the party, Roots, needs Caleb, and Caleb does not need that part. Uh, we talk. I have his number, but if we would have talked before he joined, these are the people whom, if he would have joined DAP, he would have done something. But you see, he did some of these people the way they were running. A person that last minute after the member of parliament died, you see people are rushing, avoiding party nomination. I think he was going somewhere where he was looking for a direct party nomination. But unless you are a Martin Shikuku, uh, I don't see any chance of anyone winning with the sums of these parties. I don't see. I've said the party needs him more than he needs the party. I've talked also of age. Yes, it is good. Panyakwa said that should he not clinch it this time, he will never contest it. But politicians are that way. The only time a politician will not contest a political seat is the day after sand has been poured on his coffin. So this is what I have to say. That generally, and I insisted a lot. I insisted a lot on Malava because maybe I know it well. But look at DCP holistically. Their candidate for Banisa has crossed over. Now, when the candidate has crossed over, it is too late for them to look for another person. If you want to know Banisa, from Elwak, you go straight north to Ramu. From Ramu, the person going to Mandera will turn right or go eastwards, but going to Banisa, you'll turn left, going towards Moyale. That place, finding somebody at this time to stand for DCP, to contest and whatever, already DCP has a problem in Bere. It has declared that it will support the candidature for the candidate for DP. UDA had very many candidates there, but they joined together. This thing about having a person and then overruling him or her causes a lot of problems. And I've seen that one is going to bring a lot of problems, especially to DCP, because those people, it is not campaigning in Bere, it is not campaigning in Banisa. In Malava, it is being told by DAP that this is Luhya land. The government will come with a lot of force. But most important about the government fighting DCP is that they don't want DCP to take off with a full force. Because if it is seen as a paper tiger, hey, I don't know.